my dad was choking me.
What do you remember?
I saw darkness at first.
And what did you say when you walked in?
He was trying to kill me.
What are you thinking during this period of time?
Heartbroken.
Okay. By what?
For what my dad did.
Okay. Did you have any fear?
Yes.
About what?
Of dying.
Heartbreaking, emotional testimony from the 17-year-old victim, Fatima Ali, returning to the stand today in the attempted honor killing trial. Plus, we've got a possible brand new trial for defendant Raul Valle. Remember him from the Preppy Party murder case. Our legal eagles are weighing in this morning on the brand new charges this young man is facing. Also, a poison shake, a secret affair, and incriminating search history. We're spotlighting the murder trial of Colorado dentist James Craig. And the mother accused of killing her 1-year-old baby by leaving him in a hot car while she went to get lip filler is back in court this morning. So what could the jury think of this 20-year-old case if it goes to trial? It's all coming up next for you right here on Opening Statements. Good Wednesday morning to you and welcome to Opening Statements. I'm Julie Grant. Are you ready for some coffee and some court? That's what we like to do on the show. Get you all warmed up and ready to go for the big day ahead on Court TV Live. We got a great show planned, so let's get started. Grab that cup of coffee. It's time for my opening statement. There's a line between discipline and danger. And we are seeing that line and how it was wrongfully crossed in the attempted honor killing trial. Sure, Fatima Ali was wrong for running away from home. But when you hear about the way that she was made to live while she was there, can you blame her? I can't. She was 17 years old and she was forbidden from dating. She was also pulled out of her school, away from all her friends and her boyfriend, and forced to be isolated at home attending online school. Fatima's parents clearly wanted to bring her back home the day that she ran away, but they went about it in the worst possible way. Fatima should have been safely and respectfully taken home. And then maybe a consequence implemented for her, like maybe no TV for a couple days, no cell phone for a weekend, something normal like that. But what happened to that poor child instead was so dangerous and so deadly, it is by the grace of God that she wasn't killed. That wasn't discipline. That was an aggravated assault. And I don't care what any child does. A chokehold on your child is never okay. I think poor Fatima is scared to death of her mother and father. I could hear it in her voice, and I don't blame her. I hope and I pray that she is getting the help and support that she needs to get through this trauma. And it's actually a series of traumas, right? It's the incident, it's the aftermath, and now it's testifying against her mom and dad at trial. My heart breaks for this young lady. I hope and I pray that she gets justice. That's my opening statement. Let me know if you like it. Right now, it's time for your daily docket.
You have shared with the police and with others that you felt like your mom wasn't trying to hurt you. Fair?
Yeah.
Okay. Your mom is just there holding you as you regain consciousness, correct?
Yeah.
Case I was just talking about Fatima Ali returning to the stand today in the attempted honor killing trial. Court's going to start up at noon Eastern time. We will go there live together when it does. In Florida, we've got the man who pleaded guilty to killing his ex-wife and her family. He's going to be in court today for a sentencing. Defendant Shelby Neely could be sentenced to death or spend the rest of his life in prison. That starts up at 9 a.m. Eastern. And in Colorado, the poison shake murder trial for dentist Craig James is underway. James Craig, I believe, is underway. James Craig. And there are no cameras allowed in the courtroom. However, we're going to be updating this case throughout the day. It's one that caught the attention of many trial watchers and folks in the true crime community. So, of course, we will have that for you. Right now, though, let's turn to our top story this morning. Some new developments out of Connecticut. The state planning to retry Raul Valle from the Preppy Party murder case. Just last week, the jury found Valle not guilty of the crime of murder and the crimes of first-degree assault and the stabbings of those 4 teenagers.
Will the defendant, Raul Valle, please rise and face the jury? Do you find the defendant guilty or not guilty?
Not guilty.
Valle was 16 years old at the time the incident happened. These are the 4 victims you see here on your screen. Now, 17-year-old star lacrosse player Jimmy McGrath was killed. The others survived, and court documents tell us prosecutors are going to be pursuing the lesser charges of manslaughter in the first degree, reckless manslaughter, all of the charges that the jury was deadlocked on, essentially. They told the judge they were deadlocked. They couldn't move forward, but they were definitive in saying it wasn't a murder. Okay, so what do we think about the new charges for Raul Valle? Should the prosecutors keep on pursuing this? What do you think? Should they leave it right here? I mean, they have a choice. They have discretion to leave the case where the jury left it or move forward on these lesser charges and see if they can get a conviction with another jury. Let's bring in our legal eagles. It's Wednesday morning, so we're so happy to have our regular analysts, Franz Borghardt and Casey Early with us. Good morning to you both. All right, so your thoughts on the prosecution filing some more charges against this young man. Casey, would you start us off with your thoughts, please?
Absolutely. Good morning, Julie and Franz. Well, this is not double jeopardy, just to start there, because he was acquitted of the main charge and deadlocked on the other, which was the lesser included. So, of course, the prosecution has discretion. But I always say a prosecutor, they take the oath of office, and they're supposed to pursue justice, not a conviction. So just as long as they have a good faith basis that they can prove this case beyond a reasonable doubt, then that's their job. But I really believe that usually when the charges are refiled because the jury was deadlocked, typically it's harder on the prosecution because the defense already knows their hand. And we already know that they were hopelessly deadlocked and did not even find recklessness in these actions of Mr. Valle. So I do not believe that they will be able to secure a conviction. However, oftentimes, even when I have trials and the jury's deadlocked, it goes all the way up to the day of trial, even with the plea offered on the table, and typically the charges are dropped. So it all depends. Maybe they want to seek justice in the form of some form of punishment, but in this case, they have within their discretion.
Mm-hmm. Okay, Sia, thank you for all of that. Franz, your thoughts on this decision, please.
Julie, just because you can do something doesn't mean you should. And I think this is an excellent example of, yes, the prosecution can retry him on the charges that were hung. However, is this the case that you need to do that on? And I would say no. Now, remember, in that state, he has to be tried as an adult as to murder. So my question becomes, well, if we're trying him on a lesser charge, does he stay in juvenile court? Does he go to adult court? How do we do it? Does he waive a jury and use a judge? Lots of questions, but I agree 100%. It doesn't make the case easier trying it a second time. And I think that this is one of those instances where, you know what, they tried it. They did a good job. There was nothing wrong with the state's case. The jury didn't convict him. Move on, go to the next crime. I know they have plenty of crimes there, and it doesn't mean that the victim's family doesn't get justice. They had their day in court, and there's always the civil avenue as well.
Mm-hmm. Right, Franz. And that's something that we've been all wondering, is this going to be pursued by the McGrath family, by other families? We know the McGrath family has an attorney. We do have a clip from Jimmy McGrath's father, Kevin McGrath, speaking after the verdict. Let's take a listen to that together now.
I'm astonished at the result. But, it's due process. He's entitled to it. And at the end of the day, the jury made their verdict. I'm not sure, if they're in the same courtroom as we all were together. But that's the verdict, and we'll live with it, and we'll work closely with the prosecution to get resolution. I was ready for maybe manslaughter. I was not ready for not guilty. I'll be honest with you. I don't think anybody was here.
Yeah, you feel for Kevin McGrath's father, for Jimmy McGrath's father, Kevin, who we just saw speaking there next to him, his attorney. Presumably, they're going to move forward with something civil. Casey, your thoughts on that? Is this case one that maybe is ripe for more civil action than criminal action?
Of course, and I do believe they're going to move forward. And as you know, Julie, the burden is different. In criminal court, it's a high burden beyond a reasonable doubt. And in civil court, is a preponderance of the evidence. So, and also the other two witnesses that testified that was offered immunity in the criminal case, that doesn't go over in the civil case. So there's a possibility that those who were involved, whether you handed the knife off to Raul or whether you drove him, your involvement, you can lose in the civil side. So it's not over per se. I know that they wanted justice, but maybe justice means monetary as opposed to his freedom at stake. So either way, it's going forward, I do believe.
Casey, thank you for that. I have a clip of the surviving victims in court who we all saw give testimony. Let's take a quick look back together now.
I watched the defendant go up to Jimmy and stab Jimmy.
Just kind of lifted up my shirt and looked, and I was like, holy like I was stabbed.
I was just sitting there, my body was bleeding, and I was just looking around, like trying to soak in what's going on.
Never in a million years would I think, being at one of my best friend's house, I would get stabbed, or 3 other of my friends would get stabbed, or Jimmy McGrath would die.
You know, these young folks now having that trauma to carry with them throughout their lives. It's just awful. You both know that. Franz, I'm wondering what the conversations were like with the DA's office and these surviving victims. I'm so curious how they feel about being put through another trial and more testimony and this case being just protracted the way it's going to be now. Your thoughts on that?
Well, I would imagine it runs the whole entire spectrum, right? Some may say, no, I want you to try it again. Some may say, I don't want to go through this again. Testifying is not fun, Julie. I can speak from personal experience. Testifying is not something we wake up in the morning and say, hey, I get to testify today. So I would say it's probably a mixed bag of those who want to have a secondary trial and those who do not. And look, at the end of the day, a good prosecutor listens to the victims, listens to what they're feeling and what they want, and then ultimately they make the decision on behalf of the state. The victims don't get to dictate it, but they do get deference. And so we do listen to them. But, I could see some of these guys not wanting to go through this again. I watched the trial, you watched it. Them being cross-examined wasn't fun for them. I don't think they're going to want to do that again.
I'm with you, Franz. I don't know if the juice is worth the squeeze on this one. And I still go back to our conversation last week at this time, how I think these prosecutors really messed up with that plea agreement that was just so off-putting and so unreasonable and crazy. And now look where they landed. They don't have the charges they want to pursue. And Jimmy McGrath's family is devastated. They didn't get the justice they hoped for. So we'll see what happens. We'll keep talking about this case. And Franz and Casey, we got you the whole show. So go get some more coffee. Friends at home, go do the same, please. When we come back here on Opening Statements, this is what we've got.
Dr. James Craig, the man in court. Angela Craig's husband, the father of her 6 children, he went in that room to murder, to deliberately and intentionally end her life with a fatal dose of cyanide.
Brand new trial underway in Colorado. We're shining a spotlight on the poison shake murder trial and the surprising secrets from the dentist defendant. But first, Beyonce. And there's a burglar on the run. What? Some of the singer's unreleased music stolen from her choreographer's rental car. We're talking about whether police can catch the criminal.
Two parents face a jury
over the attempted murder of their own daughter. Court TV takes you inside the trial that's torn a family apart.
The attempted honor killing trial. Live coverage today, only on Court TV.
Convicted killer Brian Kohberger will learn his fate for murdering 4 Idaho college students and come face to face with the families of his victims.
The sentencing of Brian Kohberger next Wednesday morning, only on Court TV.
Welcome back, and we've got Queen Bee trending this morning, but for reasons unrelated to her dynamic shows.
This ain't Texas, ain't no hold on. Lay your cards down, 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 down. So park your Lexus, throw your keys up, stick around, round, 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 round.
Beyonce's Christmas Day performance is just one of her many memorable moments. Her Cowboy Carter tour just finishing up a 4-day stop. That's right, 4 shows in Atlanta over the long weekend, but not without some concern, as hard drives containing unreleased music from the multiple-time Grammy Award winner, along with several other items, were stolen from a car that was rented by Beyonce's choreographer last week. Police responded after getting a 911 call from an unidentified person. That call was then obtained by TMZ.
They have my computers, and it's really, really important information in there. Like, I work with someone who's like of a high status, and I really need the
what's
my
your
computer
name?
and everything.
According to police, a warrant has been issued for an unnamed suspect. And so the question we're asking this morning, when will the Bay burglar be caught? Let's bring in our guests. I'm so happy to have back in the studio with me. It's been way too long. High-profile criminal defense and entertainment law attorney Daryl Cohen, and joining us remotely, entertainment commentator, actress, and photographer Holland Reed. Great to have you both. You two should know each other. You really should. We'll make an introduction after this segment. Okay, so Daryl, hearing this unreleased music from an artist, you rep a lot of artists. Is there any legal recourse yet for Beyonce here?
Not until they catch the thief. And when they do, it could be anything from a minor charge of just a theft of a laptop to a major situation where, because the music was unreleased, the value is really indeterminate.
Yeah.
So absolutely.
Absolutely. We just have to kind of wait, see if police catch the burglar, and then lots of legal actions may come from that. Holland Reed, in Atlanta, Beyonce was everything over the weekend. Everybody talking about it. So are people talking about this incident? Like, is this getting the Beehive upset that somebody would take that unreleased music?
Julie, yes, the Beehive is out to catch the burglar. I don't know why people think that Atlanta is a place. It's actually Cowboy Carter tour meets the Wild West of Atlanta. This is a regular thing. PSA to all your viewers: if you come to Atlanta, do not leave anything in your car. Do not roll down your window for water boys. 2 rules for everyone. So that's a PSA announcement. Okay, so let's just start there.
If you know, you know.
It's the
Yes,
Wild
Daryl's
West.
nodding. He knows. Yep. I know.
I
You're
also
right.
had my camera equipment stolen out of my car. You just can't do it. And so, not that they didn't know any better, and it's not fair, and not that, blaming the victims for this. But as Daryl was saying, yes, this is going to be a very big deal. The Beehive is not playing around. There are sleuths all over the internet right now trying to catch the perp. And it's absolutely going to go down, and it's not going to end well for that person.
Right. This is awesome info, Holland. Daryl, who do you think's got the better chance, the Beehive or the police? I don't know. I'm kind of thinking the Beehive might catch the suspect.
My answer is yes. One or the other is going to find this person who did the theft, and I assume it's a he, maybe a female, but my question is, did this person know what was contained in that laptop? Or did they just see a laptop that was in a car and just steal it? Makes a big difference.
It sure does. I mean, Daryl, what a great point. Think about that. This would be the luckiest criminal in the world if they just happened to steal a laptop that has Beyonce's unreleased music on it. I mean, Holland, imagine that. Do you think somebody just maybe got that lucky?
I don't think so. I think people really follow. This is a choreographer. Choreographers have to have new music so they can work on the next project, the next job. I think this was a targeted situation. There's nothing in me that believes this was on accident, especially where they were, how it happened. If they just got that lucky, I'm not saying that I want to hear the new tracks, but I'm saying I don't think it's possible that someone just accidentally robs or breaks into Beyonce's choreographer's rental car in a common area. It's not possible, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's a great point. I would love to know maybe where they were parked, especially if it was like a special pass close to the stage. You would think they would need to have that access, right? So maybe it was somebody going to those cars for a reason. Oh, I love the comments you both gave us. Let's talk about another trending topic now. So Diddy is back in the news this morning as he's starting to rebuild his image. So according to TMZ, he's enrolling in self-improvement programs while he's in jail, awaiting his sentencing. These programs address violence against women, some other programs to help him out. This is during his very highly publicized case. We know he's taking these courses that help inmates focus on various things. They deal with prevention of sexual assault, prevention of domestic violence, prevention of dating violence. He's also getting drug treatment as well behind bars. So Diddy helping himself, apparently, and before the sentencing, and then he'll be able to present those things to the court at the time of sentencing. What effect it'll have, we don't know. But will therapy help Diddy? That's our next trending question. Okay, Daryl Cohen, your thoughts on this?
He's doing this possibly for two reasons. Clearly for one, if I show rehabilitation, I accept responsibility, then in the guidelines, he has less incarceration time. But he may be doing it actually to help himself. I don't know. Based on his history, it's what we call a DGQ, a darn good question.
I love your acronyms, Daryl. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely going to be something that pleases his attorneys, I'm sure, that they're, okay, thank goodness he's doing something good while he's in there. That's better than nothing. But will it help him? Holland, I can't wait to hear your thoughts here. Go ahead, please.
So, with that much power, with the amount of resources he has, the uncomfortable truth with Diddy is that remorse is an option for him. It's not a requirement. It is a PR strategy. It is part of the process for him to get less time, in my belief. I do not see this particular celebrity of his status, his lack of remorse this entire time, his joyful jubilation with zero accountability really on the back end going forward. Yes, everyone loves a redemption story. Yes, we want everyone to go to rehab and work on themselves. That's amazing. Everyone should do that. But he has not exhibited any signs of behavior that he cares enough to get better, other than he cares enough to be set free, protect his empire, protect his assets. This is a PR situation, in my opinion, and we'll see what happens after the sentencing goes down.
We will be there in October. A great insight and commentary from you both. As always, Holland Reed, thank you so much. We got to let you get on with your day. Daryl's coming with us. We're going to see you on Court TV Live. I'm so excited. We're going to talk all about the Brian Kohberger case. My friends at home, go get some more coffee. When we come back, we're turning our attention to Colorado and the dentist accused of murdering his wife by poisoning her protein shake. And that's not all. There's some surprising secrets being spilled at trial. And a lip filler appointment leads to a hot car death of a baby. A 20-year-old mother back in court. Will her age tip the scales?
There's a human need to protect children and to care for children. But the fact of the matter is she's still a child herself. She's barely 20. You don't stop becoming a child when you turn 18. It's a tragic situation and she's incredibly sad.
Welcome back. In our spotlight this morning, we take you to Colorado, where the trial is underway for a dentist accused of poisoning his wife's protein shake, ultimately killing her.
My name is Dr. Jim Craig, and I practice at Summerbrook Dental Group. My approach to dentistry begins with sincerely listening to the patient and wanting to find out more about where they're coming from and what they're looking for and what they want. The most satisfying thing about my job is when a patient leaves and they say, wow, that was a lot easier than I expected it to be. I love to make dentistry easy for people.
That was Dr. James Craig. He allegedly used cyanide to poison his wife. Authorities say the dentist's business partner alerted a nurse that the wife might have been poisoned. Police then acted on the tip, found multiple internet searches at his dental office, including, quote, how many grams of pure arsenic will kill a human? Is arsenic detectable in autopsy? And top 5 undetectable poisons that show no signs of foul play. Tough facts that his defense attorney tried to clear up in open.
His children are now on the outside, without a mother, now without a father. He's anxious, and yeah, he does some not great things in jail.
And not great thing is going on in jail. She may be referring to the prosecution claiming that Dr. Craig plotted to kill not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 people, 4, including the lead case investigator. And that's just really the tip of the iceberg here. Let's talk about this case. Let's bring in our legal eagles, Casey Early and Franz Borghardt, get some thoughts on this case. Oh boy, Dr. Craig, how's this trial going to go for him? Franz, your thoughts as this case just opened up?
I'd like to tell you I've never been there, where I did an opening statement where I was saying that my client did some not so great things in jail, but I would be disingenuous, and I've been there. So I think this guy has some problems, and you know, it's not the not so great things in jail alone. It's the searching. It's the fact that, you know, look, as a defense attorney, Julie, sometimes you're asked to paint the Sistine Chapel with crayons, and that's what I feel like we're about to see. So good for his attorney getting up there, putting on a defense. This is not a difficult one.
Right. You know, and I give you and Casey a credit. It's got to be very hard to do it some days. It's just, you know, I always say on this show, never get mad at the defense attorneys. They're just trying to do their job. They're just advocating it. Oh, it can't be easy. I'm sure sometimes you come home and like sit down to dinner with your family, like, thank God I'm no longer in that situation in front of that jury talking about that client. Casey, what do you think about disgraced Dr. Craig here?
Let me tell you, I just tried a murder case and I had to do my opening somewhat similar because there was some allegations and charges of tampering with a witness inside the prison, caught on camera. So when you have to face the bad facts in your opening, you already know it's going downhill from there. And when you hear in the opening statement for the defense, he may not be a good guy. When you start off that way, how can you build up from there? So kudos to the defense attorney, zealous advocacy, you know, advocating on behalf of her client. But the facts are absolutely terrible, from the allegations to the charges to what he allegedly did in the jail. There is going to be somewhat of a verdict. And I'm leaning more towards guilty in this case.
Yes. Casey, thank you for that. I want to show everybody at home a little more about his alleged activity once he hit the jail. So once he was arrested for allegedly poisoning his wife with cyanide, then police say they caught him in this plot to kill 4 people from the jail, including the lead case investigator. Apparently he was plotting to kill the individual who filed the charges against him for his wife's homicide. So that's quite a strategy there, if it's true. Then police say he tried to have somebody fabricate some evidence. That's lovely, if true. And then his first defense attorney, we know, withdrew. Don't know why, just withdrew. Franz, he sounds like a great client to me. What do you think about how it would be representing a defendant like disgraced Dr. James Craig?
So sometimes the job is just about protecting constitutional rights. He strikes me as a client that would probably want to have a strong say in his defense. So you're going to let that happen. You're going to document to protect the record and to protect, dare I say, yourself. And you're going to give him what he wants. And and to me, this is his day in court. When there's overwhelming evidence, especially of him possibly plotting to kill the case lead investigator, you just do what you can. Just do what you can. And look, this is probably also one of those cases, Julie, where there's no deal. There's no resolution. And or maybe the deal was so vast and big that, he loses nothing going to trial. So, you never know. But I think it's just a matter of giving him his constitutional rights and doing your best.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're right, Franz. Casey, in terms of what you may do with this guy, let's say that you were representing Dr. Craig. Would you try to effort a deal? What would you try to do behind the scenes before this going to trial?
Yeah, so from the very moment, once I look at the evidence and it's overwhelming against my client, even if my client claims that they had no involvement, I present all the facts, all the evidence to my client, and then I still mitigate. And I present that offer that the state gave, because even though I know that it's overwhelming and there's a great possibility that there'll be a guilty verdict, at the end, I still gave my client the opportunity to kind of wave the white flag, take responsibility, and accept the plea deal. Because if there's a guilty verdict, I'm still going to sleep at night because I tried my best, I tried the case. But we know as litigators, we know what evidence comes in, what evidence is going to be sustained, and we know how to follow the rules of evidence. We're litigators. So sometimes our clients will not listen to us, and then they end up getting a life sentence when they could have accepted the 20-year deal. So we just have to try the case, be zealous advocates, and give the client the constitutional right to either go before a jury of their peers or accept the plea deal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sometimes there's not much you can do. I know. I don't know how you both do it. I'm sure some days are really tough when you have a case like this. And so God bless those lawyers dealing with him. God bless his children, the poor children left without their mother. And now Dad's chances of not going to prison don't look good to me. So we're going to keep following this case. Again, Colorado case, so we'll have it in the afternoons. Franz, we're going to see you back in a short time. You're going to be back for Court TV Live at 10 a.m. We'll be looking forward to that. Casey is coming with us. Wait until you hear about this next story. After the break, we're talking about a 20-year-old California mother now in jail. Oh, this is her in court just yesterday. She's accused of leaving her kids in her hot car while she went to get lip filler. That's next. Plus, later today, 17-year-old victim Fatima Ali returns to the stand to testify against her mom and her dad in the attempted honor killing trial.
What are you thinking during this period of time?
Heartbroken.
Okay. By what?
For what my dad did.
Okay. Did you have any fear?
Yes.
About what?
Of dying.
This week on Opening Statements.
Did two parents try to kill their own daughter? We're previewing each day's proceedings in the attempted honor killing trial.
Opening Statements with Julie Grant. Mornings at 8, 7 Central on Court TV.
Welcome back. Now for what's tipping the scales, an unimaginable case. A beautiful one-year-old baby dying in a hot car. But this isn't the case of a forgetful parent. No, this mother intentionally left her 1- and 3-year-old boys strapped in their car seats while she went into the doctor's office to get a lip filler injection treatment. Defendant Maya Hernandez says that she left the air conditioning on in the car, but it shut off in her car after about an hour on its own. The 1-year-old baby died. Now she's charged with murder. Her defense attorney says it's negligence at the most and that Ms. Hernandez made a, quote, difficult parenting choice. The boy's grandmother feels differently. She spoke to a local TV station about it.
I couldn't stop screaming. I just kept picturing them alone. I can't even imagine what they went through. They were strapped in their car seats. They couldn't even get up to save themselves. She literally locked them in their car seats and shut the doors.
This case, I know it breaks your heart like it does mine. And there's more. There's a lot more than we've been learning as we've been digging into this case. I want to bring in someone who's done a tremendous amount of research on it. You've seen her before on this program, Court TV digital content producer Lauren Silver back with us. Lauren, good morning. Oh, this case is so heartbreaking. I know it breaks your heart just like it does all of our wonderful courties out there watching. You've learned a lot more about this mom, the situation, how it happened, the car. If you would kind of walk us through what we know about just how she went about this appointment and then at what point the air went off.
So we don't know exactly when the appointment was first made, but we know that this was a well thought out appointment. The registered nurse who performed the appointment confirmed to police that she had texted in the morning to confirm the appointment, that she was going to be coming. And in that text exchange, she said, would it be okay if I brought my children with me to the appointment? The nurse said, absolutely. The only problem is they'll have to wait in the waiting room, but if you're okay, that's fine, bring them. Maya Hernandez then never responded to that. She did arrive at the appointment at approximately 2:00 p.m. She didn't return to the car until 4:30. So police estimated between 2.5 hours these kids were left alone. And they were strapped into the car. The windows were rolled up. The car was left on. She left the car running with the keys under the seat. The vehicle was unlocked, air conditioning set to 60 degrees, and the fan setting was on a 4 out of 7. However, the Toyota dealer that police spoke to said that the vehicle that she was in, which is a 2022 Toyota Corolla hybrid, automatically shuts off after 1 hour of inactivity. So they were in the back, they had milk, they had crackers, candy, and a cell phone propped up to watch TV, but when that car was inactive for an hour, it shut off.
Oh my gosh, this is just so awful for so many reasons. It boils my blood, Lauren. The details you shared with us, just kind of taking a step back and thinking about how she prepared for this event to leave them certain things. You mentioned the food, the different types of snacks, milk for the kids. What if the kids would have choked? I mean, leaving a 1-year-old and a 3-year-old unsupervised to eat. When would any mother ever do that, let alone in a car unattended where some stranger could kidnap them? This is incredible to me. And the forethought it would take to have that appointment, to get the lip filler inject. Surely she blocked off her schedule for that. This wasn't just a, spur of the moment, I think I'll go get my lips filled. My gosh, tell us a bit about the temperature. This is really upsetting to think about, but this is going to come into the case. What have you learned, Lauren, about how hot it got that day in California?
It was a blisteringly hot day. The temperatures were up at around 101 degrees. Another person who had been in the spa with them had a dog. He said he took it out for a walk, and it was so hot he didn't want the dog to walk anymore. He carried the dog and got it some water. So the interior of the car, police estimate, was able to reach a temperature of 143 degrees after 1 hour. The internal temperature of the 1-year-old child who died was 107 degrees. The surviving child had a temperature of 99 degrees by the time he got to the hospital. People had been pouring water on him, giving him cold water before that.
Oh my gosh, Lord, that it makes you want to cry hearing about that. They had to literally cool the child down, with icy water. The 3-year-old, the 1-year-old baby did not make it. 107 degrees, you're telling us his internal body temperature when he was discovered, and the car reached 143 degrees. A mom now charged with murder. Her defense attorney saying, this was what did he call it? A difficult choice. She made a difficult parenting choice. I'm sure our other guest, Casey Early, has something to say about that. Casey, I know you've got a lot of thoughts on this. Go right ahead, my friend. What do you think hearing these facts, please?
Julie, you know how I feel about parents when they neglect their children for selfish gain. And this is exactly what it is. And here's the thing. We talk about her keeping the AC on and not knowing it automatically shuts off. That's not even important to me. What about a potential carjacking? What about a potential robbery? You thought about that enough to lock the car doors, but you didn't think about the well-being of your children. It was selfish. She already asked whether or not she can bring them in. Maybe she didn't want to deal with him. There is no excuse. And the prosecutors charged this case perfectly because this was a murder. I have 4 children. I don't even keep them in the car when I'm running in quickly. They can walk in with me. This is what you do as a parent. You sacrifice, you give, because they did not ask to be here. So every time I hear about this story or anything dealing with child neglect, physical abuse, sexual abuse, it burns me up. So there's no excuse for what she did, and she's facing justice right now.
Casey, I knew you would feel that way. Excellent points. And here, I think what's so infuriating about this one, we've seen the hot car death cases, sadly, many times in America, far too many times we've talked about them. And typically it's that forgetful parent, that awful, oh my gosh, I had this moment where here, no, this was the planned event. This was like the parent who knew, she scheduled it, she had snacks, she had all this stuff. It's like, this is not forgetfulness. When the defense attorney is saying it's negligence, I'm going, negligence? It's far worse than that. Casey, in terms of anything redeeming about this, her age, or the defense attorney also saying, she's very young, her age, 20 years old, saying, she's sympathetic, her brain's not fully formed, whatever he said about her being young. What are your thoughts on that?
It's somewhat mitigation if they're seeking, to resolve this case, but it's not sufficient. Because again, this is not a case where she never had custody of her children and this was her first time and she really forgot, similar to the example that you made. This was well thought out, and she even asked whether or not she can bring them in. So mitigation alone, age is not sufficient. Even if she didn't have a criminal background, you need more. This is going to be a very difficult case to resolve, but and I take it that there's possibly no resolution at this time, but the factors are so egregious to the point where, and to your point where you made earlier, leaving them with food, there was no supervision whatsoever. So this is going to be a big hurdle for her to overcome.
Oh, yeah, a big time. Casey, thank you for that. Lauren, would you walk us through what's going on with her in terms of her bail status, next hearing, when we expect that to happen? Kind of give us the big picture of all things here, if you would, please.
So now their charges are being upgraded to murder. She does face another new court date to face those new charges, and that will be July 24th. And I'm sure that her attorney will move for bail after that. The other child who survived is not in the custody of the family right now. It's in the custody of the state.
Oh, boy, how sad. Gosh, our thoughts and prayers go out to everybody who loved that little baby boy who passed away so much. And then our prayers and thoughts go out to the little 3-year-old, him navigating life after this. Who knows what will happen. Lauren Silver, always great to have your reporting. Thank you so much for coming on this morning. Casey Early, always great to have your legal analysis. Thank you both kindly. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to hit a break. That is all for opening statements this morning. If you liked today's show, good. We're so glad. Watch it again if you want. Share it with your friends. We pop the episodes up for you every day on CourtTV.com.